India Charts publishes Nifty daily video updates, the weekly Elliott Wave outlook, and the long short report covering all asset classes.
Hi everyone, this is the 9th of September 2020, a very interesting day to really be going over the markets, because what we've seen right now is a panic reaction across world equities where the US indices have fallen all the way back to their lower Bollinger Band. This is the first time since the month of June that we are actually seeing this kind of a reaction, because when you look at June, you see this sharp sell-off that we saw. Prices went back to the 40-day average and then bounced around a bit, and then of course price action continued from there. There was a consolidation and then you had this long rally, and now once again after two and a half months we are again seeing the same kind of reaction back to the lower end. So it's a bit early for me to say, even though these kind of big moves can scare you because you've seen a one-sided runaway. Most people believe and not wrongly that this has been a liquidity driven move because the underlying economy has not really turned back and improved to the same degree. So while there's truth to that, when it purely comes back to the market, should we really take every sell-off as the major top and a start of the previous bear market all over again? Now many of these markets have also, especially US, has ended up at new all-time highs, but that's not true in Asia or in say Europe. But what we did get here is, initially I thought that the 20-day average would hold, because that did hold for this 2-month period. But eventually it's broken, and so I'm considering the possibility that this might only end up being a fourth wave correction rather than the end point for this entire move. Now that is very similar to what I also am starting to think that I should anticipate on Nifty. Initially when it started to sell off, I thought this would be the fourth wave of this third wave rally. Now it looks like probably the third is complete. I mean, that was the only thing I had to judge. And the reason the judgment was a little difficult and not early is that you had very strong rotation in the market, which means that even though August was a slightly flattish month, so when we actually saw this whole pattern development, when this was flat, we actually had strength in the metal. So through this time period, first the metal stocks rallied, and then fag end this period, banking stocks actually started to rally. So the Bank Nifty had a very good setup for a takeoff, which is why I made my last video on banking saying that it's probably starting off a rally, and if it did actually continue in what looked like a third wave, then it could have been significant enough to drive the market itself higher. But that rally ended in 5 days, and one of my observations has been that recently a lot of the moves in the market are actually just ending in 4-5 days. So you're not really getting a movement beyond that. This of course looks big, but if you just look at this series of gains one way, it's just 5 to 6 days. Same thing here again, and here again. Even this very narrow movement, you didn't go very far, but still it was around a 5-6 day move, one-sided on the way up. And so that pattern just repeated itself, that even though banks were leading and it looked like they could have continued, but in 5-6 days the move was over. And by that time the mid-cap index RSI actually reached 84-85. So I did think you were going to get a knee-jerk reaction in mid-cap, same way the S&P, because of that high RSI, and I just thought it'll be a knee-jerk reaction, won't impact the Nifty so much, but we have seen a more significant impact than I was anticipating, because when you started this move up, I thought it's a new move, so any subdivision would be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, but 11,800 was still a level I'd keep mentioning all of last month. The moment we got there, it stalled, but when we got there, I thought if it extends, then maybe we'll even get to the 12,000 mark. Now all that is past. What you're seeing again is a resumption of weakness in banking. Now I don't believe that a market can go up without the banks really participating. At the same time, in one of my videos, many of my videos, I think through July and August, I kept saying that banks would underperform longer term. So even though they may go up with the markets, every time it corrects, they'll fall more, and in sense medium to longer term they actually end up becoming underperformers, and that's proven itself true once more. I just thought it could be a longer rally. Maybe next time it does something more meaningful, but I think we need to remain prepared for these kind of side effects, especially in the bank nifty. Now from the Nifty's perspective, there are two things to watch. One is whether we complete a consolidation phase which looks more like a wedge or a triangle, or do we go back to retest this previous swing low which is closer to 11,111. Okay, and in fact the 23% retracement of this entire rise would also come in at around 11,090. So those are levels to watch, and once we do get a reversal, then if this is a fourth wave as being anticipated, then what we should see is a fifth wave on the upside, is what I'm really thinking. Now the recent panic that we saw in the S&P has not really spread to all parts of the market, which means if I just switch on to look at what the Dow Transports is doing, was a pretty flattish index. The utilities or the Russell 2000 also did see some reactions on the way down, but they were not these big sell-offs, where you were breaking, previous lows or giving back gains that were made over several days. I think the largest part of that reaction came in the front end indices, which is the Nasdaq and the S&P, followed by the Dow, but not across the board. So that's one thing to note now, but sometimes with a lag that can happen. So we continue to keep an eye on it, but when you have strength in some parts of the market, it tells you that, maybe the market is still strong and not yet weakened to that degree, and it's a routine correction like the ones we've gotten used to seeing, because this entire rally is in a high VIX environment. So when you're in a high VIX environment, you're going to get major swings in both directions, and you have to really be prepared for that. So one of the most interesting things about last night, while all that carnage was going on, is that it had no impact on the gold spot price. The spot price actually closed positive day before itself, and yesterday night, this is the futures chart, the futures price also closed positive from what looks like a triangular pattern. So I'm going to be watching this, because if you do complete a triangle, and my sense is this is a fourth wave for gold, then what you end up with is a fifth wave on the way higher. Now if this is a fourth wave and it fits even the channel so far, so we haven't really broken any levels or the trend line or trend channels for this structure. We have gone a little sideways into it, but broadly, because the swings are holding, and if you draw a parallel line, then the whole pattern will fit inside a channel. In fact, the spot chart would actually show you a much better structure. The biggest debate though for everyone who watches global markets and has now understood what's really been the driver of this entire move, which is liquidity coming specifically from the dollar, because the Fed has intervened in a big way during this crisis, is that the dollar index moved down significantly, and if the trend in the dollar actually changes, given that you have strong positioning on the short side, or whether sentiment has reached an extreme, those kind of data points can really push you to calling a turnaround in the dollar. I'm going to still be watching the key support resistance levels which fit with this channel. So for example, I have a downward channel for this entire move, and the way I'm looking at this fall is that I do believe, as I've mentioned many times before, the dollar index is in a bear market. And if it is in a bear market, do you count this as wave 1 and the entire structure as 2? Or are there a series of ones and twos inside of this structure, which is what I think is really going on. I think it's a little early to say that the fourth wave is really over. What I think you might have here is 3 and 4, and what you're really doing is subdividing in terms of a minor ABC on the way up. So we'll watch this for the next few days. If prices do not really break out of this downward trend, I would think that this is still a fourth wave. Another way to look at it is, in fact, the euro. It has a triangular pattern at the top, so it looks very, very different. This whole swing down is taken as part of the third wave. So instead of marking, even if you don't mark it as 1 and 2, what I would think is this initial 2 was of a larger degree, and this is all part of the third wave. So we've really not done wave 5 of 3. That's what I'm really coming to. And unless you really break out of this channel, my sense is you might again resume the downward trend for the dollar index, and then that would once again fuel the same activity, which is you've seen most asset classes rallying based on liquidity, and this is the one indicator that everybody is watching for the signs that there's a liquidity swing happening. And that brings me to the USD INR. The USD INR itself for a long time was really not breaking down. It appears that probably there was a lot of intervention. The RBI has been buying dollars over the last couple of months. But the weak dollar eventually was to have this effect, and it has, which is it has broken the shelf support of all the swing lows between April and July. And doing so, I think we have started a larger downward trend. Now, this bounce back, so what you're seeing in the dollar right now, which is accompanying the recent market correction, is essentially a three-wave ABC pullback is what I sense, A, B and C. And once you complete this three-wave ABC pullback, what I would expect then is another swing lower. So you're very close to doing a pullback, kissing this line. This trend line of the previous lows is coming in just at around 70, just close to 74. So short of 74 is where I think we would expect this move up in the USD INR to really come to an end. Like I said, in a smaller ABC, and this ABC is essentially a wave B of this decline. So you still have a larger C down left, and if I really think of in terms of the size of this move, what we would be looking for is something like this. If C and A are equal, if you have an ABC correction and wave C is equal to what the size of wave A was, then we can consider something like 71.64. So what we are looking at is going back somewhere into the price territory of the previous breakout. It could be anywhere in this range, and that's where I think you'll get a more meaningful low point for the currency pair right now, because it's just broken down from this distribution range is what I would call it, because it's like a triangular contracting structure. You break down, you bounce back. Usually after this, the trend down just continues. So that's what I would think. USD is still likely to head lower, and that's one of the factors that could also be positive for the market. What I'm doing though, and so as I put all these pieces of the puzzle together, and unless something really goes wrong, what I'm trying to highlight is that the downside in a broader rising market is still probably limited. Mostly people are looking at things like the Nifty PE. They're trying to consider that the PE is moved up so much that probably this is an extremely overbought market. And at an index level, if you look at the PE, you'll definitely feel that way. There's another sense that if this is 1, 2, 3, why not ABC? This is over, and why shouldn't it just sell off? So this is a corrective bear market rally. It's over, and you should resume the bear market. And the reasons to having discarded that, probably I've said it over and over again, is that you already had a 2.5 year bear market in many sectors. You had it in the mid cap index, you had it in the auto sector, you had an almost 4-year bear market in the pharma sector, the FMCG sector, and so on. So they've all been through deep cuts, which is why while the Nifty held on and appears to have higher valuations and so on, many of those stocks are actually at much lower levels. So a large part of this rally, apart from just calling it liquidity, is actually a value buying rally into beaten down stocks. Now that part done, what you're asking for is, at what point will that momentum get lost and we align a little bit with what the economy is doing. All I'm trying to say is don't call for a very deep correction, because some people start thinking about 10,500, but even worse, start thinking about 10,000 and below 10,000. So that kind of thing would only occur if there was a major crisis, either from the event itself, which is the pandemic, or from the dollar market, which is your main liquidity factor. So unless you really see that breakout in the dollar, a change in trend, I think you should remain focused on the side that a liquidity driven move could simply continue based on simple trend following tools, rather than trying to read too much into it. In fact, one of the leading sectors for this move, and I actually published this chart yesterday, has been the tech sector. And even while the market was actually weak, the tech sector, which was going through this entire period, was going through a consolidation. It's actually broken out of this range, so you're actually getting a range breakout. If you draw a trend line from the bottom, we almost touched this line 2 days ago and are running on the way up. So my sense is, because it's so well channeled, and like I said, just like US tech is best performing, even our own tech stocks have been performing well. The numbers have come out better than what people thought, is that within the channel we have completed a 4th wave and we are due to start a 5th. So if there's a 5th wave, again we start looking at the move towards the top end of the channel. That's almost 21,500. I can do separate Fibonacci projections, which I've done in my post, so I'll not replay those years, you can read it online. But broadly, you just move from the bottom to the top end of the channel, which means that tech stocks end up being outperformers again in the next rally, as and when it starts once you complete the fourth wave. And this wave count also coincides with what the Nifty really is showing. So what we are really seeing is a series of fourth waves in various places where you can get a fifth again. And unless that view is violated, I think I'll just continue to hang on to this current perspective. The only flashpoint I think has been the weakness in banking. They may make a comeback if there's positive news flow, but what they've shown is that every time it rally, moment the market goes to any correction or consolidation, banks become the weakest spot. They've proven this again and again, June, July, August, and now even September. And so always be careful of that. Every time you do get a banking rally, I think the first thing you'll think of doing is booking out.